No surprise that Blaster Master is at the top of this list. Blaster Master is a shining example of the Metroidvania concept, where as you progress through the game, you gain power-ups that help to unlock new areas of the game. The plot for Blaster Master has you playing the game as Jason. You are searching for your pet frog, Fred, who disappeared into a hole after touching a radioactive box. While trying to retrieve Fred, you fall down into the hole and you come across a tank named Sophia. You decide to use the tank to help you search for Fred. If you think that plot is wild, you should see the Japanese Blaster Master plot that talks about alien invasions, and then you're in the tank, and the tank is the last hope. Regardless if you're playing the westernized version or the Japanese version, the graphics in Blaster Master are good. Controls are great, the music is great, the game is just overlooked. I think it doesn't rate higher on most people's lists because of two reasons. The first is that the game has no way to save progress. All it has is the ability to continue. Now, Zelda has a battery backup. Metroid has a password system. All Blaster Master has is unlimited continues. Of course, nowadays you can run the game on an emulator and you can use save states, but back then, the only way you could beat Blaster Master is you had to finish the game in one setting. Sure, you could take breaks, you could pause the game, you could unplug the video cable in the back of your Nintendo but keep the power on. But it doesn't matter, you still need to beat the game without turning off your Nintendo. I think the second reason the game is overlooked is because it's pretty challenging. I had Blaster Master as a kid and I never beat the game. Had I been able to use some type of password system to pick up where I left off, like in Metroid, I would have definitely been able to finish the game. Now, as for the rest of these games on this list, we'll probably encounter them some other time, so I'm going to hold off on them. But this number 10 game right here, I think that's supposed to be Dr. Chaos. If you're wondering what the heck Dr. Chaos is, you're not the only one. EGM says here that it's better than Goonies 2. I don't have Goonies 2, so let's check out Dr. Chaos. Now you're watching me play Dr. Chaos for the first time, so the gameplay is going to be a little rough. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just trying to figure things out as I go. Unfortunately, Dr. Chaos doesn't seem to control as well as Simon's Quest, because you can see here, I'm struggling just to kill this mouse, or rat, or whatever it is. Ooh, that's interesting. I like this weird monster thing that comes through this door. Kind of reminds me of the part in Resident Evil 2 for the PS1, where you open a door and you get the loading screen, and then there's a zombie behind that door. Okay, so the best way I can describe Dr. Chaos is to imagine you're playing Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest, where when you go into an open door, the game will suddenly turn into Shadowgate. That's Dr. Chaos. Other than that, it's an okay game. Definitely not what I was expecting, which is kind of good. I just wish the action platforming part of the game had better controls. Back in the late 80s, early 90s, it seems like you had a lot of movie sequels that kicked ass, like The Empire Strikes Back, Aliens, Back to the Future Part 2, and of course Terminator 2 Judgment Day. As for video games from that era, after you get past the Marios and Zeldas, you have a video game sequel that many consider a top 10 NES game of all time. Mega Man 2. Mega Man 2 is one of those games that takes everything that was great about the first game and makes it better. Capcom added a few abilities to make the game more accessible, such as by giving you the ability to use the jet to fly past certain parts of the game and providing energy tanks that you can use to replenish your health in times of need. The graphics are a huge upgrade from the original Mega Man. You have stages like Airman's and Bubble Man's. Both use vibrant colors with enemies that stand out against the blue backgrounds. Then you have the enemies. I can remember seeing a screenshot similar to this one in one of the gaming magazines. I don't remember if it was EGM, Nintendo Power, or GamePro, or some other magazine. But when I saw that, I was like, wow, that enemy is huge. It looks like it could be that stage's boss. Turns out, that robot is just a regular enemy, one of the many that you encounter along the way. It's like the developers knew that the first Mega Man may have been too difficult for kids like me, so they fine-tuned the mechanics, such as by increasing the drop rate on helpful items. In fact, it's fairly common to be able to replenish your health and all your secondary weapons just by blowing up a few enemies here and there. You might even get an extra life or two to drop. How do I know Mega Man 2 is so legendary? I had the original Mega Man as a kid, and let me tell you, that game pissed me off with how difficult it was. Don't get me started on those stupid disappearing blocks. I hate those disappearing blocks. If you've never played both Mega Man games, go play and finish Mega Man 2, then play Mega Man 1. Be sure to start by selecting the Gutsman stage of Mega Man 1. You'll probably do something similar to what you see me doing on screen. That's how challenging the first Mega Man game is. Overall, Mega Man 2 is an amazing game. I suggest playing it over Zelda 2. Based on an arcade game of the same name, Super Sprint for the NES is a Formula One racing game. It has a unique top-down perspective that allows players to see the entire track all at once. This has positives of being able to see exactly where your opponents are at all times, and it makes it easier to race against another human opponent as a two-player split-screen format is not needed. Other than winning the race, your goal in Super Sprint is to collect as many wrenches as you can. You can use the wrenches to upgrade your car in between races. This customization feature adds a light RPG component to the game and increases replayability. Super Sprint may be the easiest racing game to learn how to play, as only 3 controller movements are needed to play the game. Left on the control pad turns the car to the left, right turns the car to the right, and the A button accelerates. Pressing the B button or up and down on the control pad will do nothing. And there's a reason for that. The origins of Super Sprint date back to the 1970s. The first version of the game is titled Grand Track 10. I can't get that version of the game to work. I can kind of get this version of the game to work. It's the arcade version of Sprint 2 from 1976. I can't control the car, but at least you can watch the game in action. Sprint 2 is so old school, it was released before even I was alive. Overall, Super Sprint is an okay racing game if you can get used to the game's visual perspective. I think the game's old school lineage is actually pretty cool. It's definitely not the NES's version of Gran Turismo. In fact, it looks less like a Formula One racing game and more like you're racing micro machines. But you know what? That's okay. And yes, I'm also aware that there's an NES game called Micro Machines that's remembered very fondly. IGN even ranked Micro Machines as 31 in their top NES games of all time. Something I did not know is that all these years, I thought Super Off-Road was a follow-up game to Super Sprint. Both games share the unique visual perspective, and both control pretty much the same to the point that if you played one game, you know how to play the other. Turns out, Super Sprint, the arcade version at least, was actually developed by Atari, while Super Off-Road was developed by Leland Corporation. You may recognize the name Leland Corporation as the same company that was responsible for porting Mortal Kombat 3 to the PlayStation 1.
Liu Kang.